Just talk about how practice has gone so far, the first 3 days, and obviously you had your first day off. How have things gone, and how has the working in the summer, the extra work you guys did paid off in terms of being ahead of where you were at this time last year?
I think so far practices have gone really, really well. We've had a great gym culture, and the workouts this week of the summer, everyone was there the entire time. They definitely helped a lot getting the new people integrated into understanding the workouts. They came early as well, and they learned the drills. I think that's helped a lot with the transition from summer into season.
How comfortable are you now having a year under your belt? You had a chance to set in some pretty big matches last year, especially at the beginning of the year. How comfortable does that make you kind of heading in, having all that knowledge under your belt now?
It's a lot different. I feel a lot more comfortable, a lot more relaxed. I know the girls. I know what kind of sets they like and their tendencies, and then understanding the offensive system better. It's a huge difference coming in with a year and playing experience, practice experience, than coming in as a freshman.
Just kind of touch on the fact that we just talked about it, but just the team having a little bit of extra, being able to practice a little extra during the summer, and especially for someone like you who's not local, who's coming in from out of state. Talk about the dedication that takes for 13 of the 14 of you guys to be able to be practicing during the summer and get yourself ahead of the game, so that when fall practice started, things were easier.
Well, I think the most important thing, we got to work on what we wanted to work on and felt most comfortable, or felt that we needed to work on and become most comfortable. Hitters and setters spent a lot of time working on certain sets and plays and running it over and over and over again until we got where we wanted. And it was awesome that the girls from out of state, we have 2 girls from California, they came early and they were here the entire time. And then I think it's just made it easier that this is our home now and we're just here all the time.
You're going into your second year where there's been a really solid competition for the setter spot. Obviously, last year you guys brought in Taylor, and you got to benefit a lot from her. Now you guys bring in Stephanie, and probably helps you guys to be able to have both sides of the net be very competitive with each other in practice. Just talk about what that does, and just the sense of wanting to work with each other, but at the same time, obviously, each one of you wants to have that kind of starting job once the season starts.
Well, just like you mentioned, for practice, it makes our scrimmages that much more competitive, which is the most important thing, I think, and that we can get good practice play and get the starting side can get comfortable competing against a side that's just as equal in talent. So we have days where the starting side loses every single match, and there are other days it's the other way around. It's just always very competitive. And then, obviously, with working one-on-one with each other, I have experience with our coaches, so I can provide feedback on what we're kind of looking for, and she has obviously great setting training from other coaches, and she can contribute as well, and just try to work our best together.
Well, how did it help you last year having a senior setter be in here and kind of being able to play, but also kind of watch Taylor from the bench and kind of see some of the senior leadership that she had? How did that kind of help you build forward into what you want to do with your career as a setter?
Well, Taylor was awesome for me last year. I think we worked really well together, and I learned so much from her. I hope she learned a little from me as well. I can reciprocate, but learning just kind of through her successes and failures as well, you can understand, well, that didn't work and why didn't that work, and you can kind of watch from the bench, and making sure I'm always actively engaged. That was important last year, and learning from what she was doing. And then she worked a lot with us this spring and then was here all the summer, and it was definitely sad to see her go, but she helped me a ton. Just we had such a good communication between the two of us, with constant feedback on everything, and it didn't feel like there was a 4 years age difference between us.
I guess talk about you had the chance, obviously, in the summer to work with all the newcomers who are coming into the program, and even in the spring to work with Ashley. Just talk about what you've seen out of those new players, and being able to actually now have a full team practice with them, with the coaches involved, what you've seen out of them in the first few days.
Well, it's definitely been nice to not feel like a freshman anymore, and like you can kind of understand what we were doing wrong, because you can see the posture things. It's a big difference. That's one of the main things our coaches talk about, is just being good posture all the time, and you finally get it now, and then you can see, oh, that's what I was doing last year. But it's kind of nice to be able to help them out and show them the ropes and the things that we learned, and kind of obstacles to avoid. But and there's a noticeable difference too between Ashley and the 2 freshmen that are just coming in, because Ashley understands the system a little bit better. She feels more comfortable. And the other 2 girls, they're doing a great job, but you can tell there's still a little bit of lack of confidence in some of the things that we're doing.
I guess kind of talk about the process that you guys have gone through where obviously, you lose the last match of the year at Texas, and that obviously makes you hungry to get back to the Final Four. Just talk about kind of the moment that kind of ends sinking in and then getting back down to work and all the extra hard work that you guys put in the off season.
Well, I think anytime you end your season on a loss, that definitely carries over to the next year. But being able to play Texas in the spring and kind of getting that revenge win, even though they didn't have a couple of their players, was definitely awesome. But it made us, losing in Tampa, understand what we need to do to get to that final step. It was one of the best things that probably could have happened to us.
Finally, just talk about how excited you are to be 2 weeks away pretty much from the first match of the season.
I can't wait. We just talked about it today before our practice, just how we need to really focus in on these last couple days of practice that we have up until our first match, and just can't wait to see what happens.